Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom. And in this video, we're going to look at an interesting little book. This is probably one of the first real children's longer chapter books that I've done. So this is the Cheshire Cheese Cat, a Dickens of a Tale by Carmen, I'm going to mispronounce this name, Agra Deedy, Deedy and Randall Wright. The drawings are by Barry Moser. So this is a cute little tale. It's a grade range by kind of looking at this. You definitely read it to the younger kids. Not really scary. Probably middle to late middle school. Just kind of, it's decently long. It's, let's see, how long is the book? About 228 pages, so probably middle school, late elementary at most, depending on your reading level. It's a cute little book. It definitely, it takes place in England, and the Dickens references are throughout this book like crazy. So, very obviously Dickens, Charles Dickens references, and this is the time period. So he's actually a character in this book. So Charles Dickens is a character in this book. In fact, it's right around the time he's trying to finish A Tale of Two Cities. So in this book, you have a cat who has a secret. He likes cheese, not mice. So, and you have another cat who likes, well, obviously like a typical cat, he likes to kill mice. He's a big bully of a cat. So this cat who likes cheese, this blue cat here in the main picture here is, what is his name? Let's see, what is his name? I think is it Scully? There are two major cat characters in this book. There's Scully and there's, what is his name here? Pinch. Now Scully is our main character. Pinch is a kind of nasty cat. The Cheshire Cheese is an inn, or basically it's a pub. It's a restaurant, essentially in Victorian England. Yes, Queen Victoria shows up at the end of this book. It's very, very much Victorian England. And again, Charles Dickens, who frequents this place, which is known for its cheese. And it's word about the fact they have mice. So this mice-loving, or this regularly cheese-loving cat decides to show up and essentially let the humans believe that he's a mouser. Instead, he befriends the mice, and because they help him with cheese. And you have this mystery. You have some interactions with various patrons, including Charles Dickens, and the cats and the mice reveal that hiding in the attic is a raven. More specifically, one of the Queen's ravens. Now, this is a true belief in England, and it has to do with the Tower of London, and specifically these ravens. It is believed that if the ravens ever leave the Tower of London, England is cursed. So it's going to be the fall of the kingdom. And this is believed to this day. There are, I think, 5 ravens that are kept at the Tower of London to this day. So what happened with this raven is they accidentally let his flight feathers grow. Normally they trim them to keep them from flying away, because again, they don't want England, the kingdom, to fall. So, but he gets tempted to fly, and he gets caught in the wind and gets thrown, and he falls and his wing breaks, and he's about to be attacked by these cats. Only basically these mice and this young girl by the name of I think I'm like Nell. Adele's one of the other characters, but Nell rescues him and gets him into the attic, gets him away from these cats. Problem is, of course, by the time this all happens, Nell is sent away. Now, Scully believes from the tales of the mice that Nell is dead. just because she's been gone away. The reality is she made the mistake. He finds out later from the mice that she made the mistake of telling this other girl, Adele, who turns out to be very, very crazy, that she was essentially understanding the mice, and one of these mice learned to read and write. And yes, this mouse learned to read and write. And of course, her father thought she was crazy and sent her away to stay with her aunt. That was found out at the end. Now, in the midst of this, Adele, who's one of the, I think she's an assistant to the cook or something. She works there. She brings in, she's very, very nasty, very, very crazy. Turns out she's stealing. But she brings in this other cat, which is Punch. And Punch is a vicious, vicious mouser. He wants all the mice dead. He's very much of a bully. He beats up the other cats. And he was him and his gang were the ones who were going to attack this raven. So they're trying to, it's come about that the queens, basically, they're looking for this raven because it's one of the queen's ravens. It belongs in the Tower of London. And it's in the newspapers. They're looking who the heck kidnapped this raven because they can't believe it flew, let alone just didn't come back because they have a cushy life. Still do. Again, these ravens, the ravens in the Tower of London is a legitimate thing. So the cats and the mice have to try to figure out how to get this raven out of the attic, away from Punch, who will kill him, and all the way back to the Tower of London. And again, one of those mice know how to read and write. They accidentally get some clippings from a magazine and end up accidentally writing a ransom letter because they don't entirely know what the heck they're doing. So they accidentally send this off, which essentially, I don't know exactly what it ends up saying. It's very, very funny. Let's see if I know what the heck they end up sending off. Because they do get it mailed, because Nell comes back briefly to see her family and then refuses to leave again. And she gets this sent off. But she has no idea what the heck it says. She's also unaware that the raven she saved was one of the queens. So, and there are illustrations in this book. So, let's see. Here it is. Tower raven kidnapped alive, safe at Cheshire Cheese. Come alone, afraid. £1,000 ransom in advance or meet vicious band. Yes, that's what they wrote. That's not exactly what they intended to write. What they intended to write, let me see if I can find out what they actually intended to write. Essentially, they just wanted them basically to let the Queen's people know that this raven was here for the raven guy to come and basically pick up the raven. So, that he was the Cheshire Cheese. What ends up happening in the end is Punch and Adele figure out that they have this raven. Punch wants to kill it. Adele is crazy and wants all the mice dead. It's kind of insane. Punch ends up locking Scully in the cheese room and then basically tosses Pip, who's the main mouse who's communicating with Scully, in one of the cooking pots. Thankfully, some of the other mice help get Scully out. He rescues his friend, but they also know where the bloody raven, Punch knows where the raven is. And there ends up being a massive actual cat fight, trying to rescue the raven. The Queen shows up. Yes, the Queen shows up because they had gotten this letter and they want their raven back. Dickens is there as well. And essentially, there's a huge, massive actual cat fight. Ravens involved. And basically the Queen sees this. Nell sees this. Adele kind of goes crazy. And in order to help Scully not be beaten the crap out of by Punch, well, his friends come and help him with like thousands of bloody mice. So a bunch of mice coming in, which obviously freaks everybody out. And essentially it's revealed that Nell was communicating with these mice, that she rescued this raven that was going to be attacked by these cats. They're going to hand it back to the Raveners. But it's also revealed that the cheesemaker, how she determines how well her cheese is if the aged cheese is not touched by mice, it's crappy cheese. So essentially, she's aware that there are mice there. She's using the mice. And yeah, Adele kind of goes, the main character, Adele kind of goes crazy. She's screaming, she wants the mice gone. And it kind of, her money pouch falls out. She says, my cheese money. And they know they've been being stolen from. And so the owner, it's like, you've been stealing from me. It's like, and she's just kind of nasty and kind of crazy. And in fact, they show some pictures in here. So there are some pictures in this thing. So you have pictures of the mice and you have pictures of the cats. I'll show some of the pictures here. So there's our main character and the raven, whose name I cannot pronounce. Maldwin, I think is what it is. It's probably very, very old English. But you have the mice trying to write letters. So, and then let's bring in the humans. You also have pictures of some of the famous people who are in there. I don't know enough about this time in England to understand these people, but you have Wilkin Collins, William Makepeace Thackeray, and Edward Baldwin Leighton. I mispronounced it these days. But you have some of the things here, and again, you have, this is the letter, and you have the cat just kind of, it's like, oh dear God. Like, this just sounds horrible, and you've got to be crazy. So, and then there's Nell. So you have the sweet-looking little girl there, who's basically says, like, I'm driving my aunt crazy because I keep rescuing animals. I'm not leaving home. And then this is Adele, who's, again, she looks like a crazy person. So those are they do some sketches in here. And then, of course, they have a picture of very pissed off Queen Victoria because she wants her raven back. And let's see. A few other things. Let's see. But again, and then you have, oh, let's see, more cats. Mice. But again, let's see, find a decent cat and bird fight. Yeah, because this bird is, his wing is healed, but not well. But he's fighting back because he has a mouse in her mouth. And one of the young mice is in his mouth. She lives. This little mouse called Two lives, but she's short one leg. So, and you have a whole bunch of mice here because the mice come and rescue them. But it's a cute little story. And I think that's it. And of course you have Charles Dickens. And at the end, the mouse, Pip, ends up reading Charles Dickens' story. And he's having a massive issue throughout this book of how to start it. And in this story, the fictionalized idea is Pip writes down to help him because Dickens stands up for them. He helps. It's like, yeah, so what? There's a bunch of mice here. It looks like they're probably helping with the cheese. So he defends them and kind of protects things from the Queen saying it should be shut down. It's like, no, it shouldn't. It's the best cheese in the country. And actually at the end, the Queen declares that the mice at the Cheshire Cheese are under royal protection. So you can't kill the mice at the Cheshire Cheese because they're under now royal protection because they gave her some of the cheese, and that's how basically the cheesemaker admits that yes, how she figures out which is the best cheese after it's aging is if the mice get into it. So yes, at the end the mice become protected similar to the ravens. But eventually this mouse, Pip, reads A Tale of Two Cities. A mouse reads A Tale of Two Cities, even though he tells this to Scully. Because of course the other cat is kicked out. Adele's taken to jail because, thief. And so the mouse reads A Tale of Two Cities and writes the beginning for Charles Dickens, which is, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. So in this story, essentially, the beginning of The Tale of Two Cities was written by a mouse. But it's a cute little it's a cute little story. It's definitely something you have Animal-loving children who would really love this, particularly cat-loving children. This is definitely on my book list to read to my daughter when she's older, because we are cat people. And this is a very cute tale. It has some scary moments, particularly at the end of with the climax. Scully is a sweet cat. Pinch is really, really nasty. And you're dealing with that kind of villainy there. But it's a cute little book. It's a little over 200 pages. Definitely, if you're, again, very great read aloud book. But probably middle to late elementary. Give or take your kid's reading level. So nothing overtly evil or bad in this, just a really great kid's tale. So that's it for this book review. If you like what you see, check out the rest of my channel, like and subscribe. I do a lot of books like this, a lot of children's picture books. I do some more advanced stuff. We are a secular homeschooling family, so a lot of this is geared toward that. With this book, particularly if you're doing units on Charles Dickens and looking for something to read to your younger kids, this is a great thing to pick out because there's lots of Dickens references throughout the book. A lot of different sayings, and of course Charles Dickens is in the book. So it's a fun little book. Also with your animal-loving kids. It's just a kind of a great fictional book to read otherwise. So again, I do a lot of stuff like this. I do a variety of other book reviews. You can check out what I've got. I do some film stuff. I do secular homeschooling stuff, which I'll add to as my daughter gets older. As of this video, she's still 2. She'll be 3 soon. By the time this comes out, no, this is an August book. She is 2. I'm filming this in October of 2021. So you guys will not be seeing this until August of 2022. So my daughter is currently just over 2. So she'll be 3 by the time you guys see this. I'll be adding more homeschooling stuff as she gets older. We'll also be, as we travel, we'll be adding different travel tips of traveling with kids and talk about our different travels and where we go and things like that. So like and subscribe, check out what I've got. I have a lot more planned. Thank you.